There's no doubt about it that in a post-COVID world, we've had to really recalibrate the way we do business networking. I know myself personally, I don't travel anywhere near as much as I used to when I was sort of in the heyday of our various businesses. I would literally be on a plane every week and meeting with clients in different offices around Australia. That was pretty commonplace. And I would go to a number of business events, and it was quite normal to do sort of a breakfast meeting in the morning and then an evening networking function at night. Now we've got to recalibrate. I believe you've got to really get up to speed with a new way of business networking, a new way to build rapport with people. And, at the heart of that, you've got to kind of look at digital mechanisms to reach out to people, forge meaningful relationships and build that beautiful relationship that actually is meaningful. And, the number one way that I believe you can do that is through the power of LinkedIn and using that platform to obviously lift your personal profile, lift your thought leadership. Thought leadership is really crucial to business networking because it's part of the process which generates the trust component or generates the rapport component a lot easier than from a cold, flat start. I think too many people misuse LinkedIn and they just sort of flash out, invitations. And I've got one fellow at the moment on LinkedIn. He's like, I want to have a meeting with you. And there's no purpose to the meeting. There's no, sort of real call to action other than he would like to be in my network. Well, that just doesn't work. People don't have time for those kind of meetings. So you've got to really rethink, firstly, when you are approaching people on these platforms, you've got to do it from a place of giving rather than taking. I think you've got to approach it from the basis of it might take a few steps before you actually get a face-to-face or a telephone video meeting with someone, and you've got to be prepared to sort of do the hard yards, if you like, to build up the credentials to be able to forge a meaningful relationship. So obviously when you're in a in-person setting, you can have a conversation with someone, you can build that little bit of nice rapport, you can exchange a business card, and there's a memorability about that exchange that obviously helps with forging a relationship. Often the people who do the face-to-face networking fail as well because they'll often think, well, we've got a relationship now, I can come back and try and sell something to you in a future date. They don't do anything to nurture that relationship after that initial meeting. I know from a metrics standpoint, when we're doing e-commerce, we know that there has to be at least 10 interactions before someone purchases from our company. And sometimes it's more than that, but we work on a number of about 10. So that means someone has to have read your book, looked at a blog, read your newsletter, watched one of your videos. They need to have interacted with you on an online platform, maybe on a number of different social media feeds, before they feel like they kind of know you or could approach you or feel there's a level of trust there as to who you are and what you stand for. And so, I think networking now online has to go hand in hand with that thought leadership piece. If you're not showing up on the platforms, sharing your thoughts, your insights, writing articles, potentially writing a book, doing these things that, would share where you stand on things, it's very difficult to build that rapport. You've got to work a lot harder to get the 10 little steps towards being able to have a transaction between the two of you. So I think you've got to really recalibrate the way we do networking. I think it's good to have a combination of online and offline. I think it's good to have an overarching strategy as to what you're trying to achieve with your business networking. And overall, I think we've got to really recalibrate based on the way people now do business. There's less travel, there are less events, there's less in-person opportunities. So you still want to make, good use of those opportunities, but you have to embrace the the digital paradigm, the business networking tools. You have to be front and center. You cannot afford to ignore this, in my opinion, if you want to be successful in business networking in the new era with the new sort of context that we're facing.